They must never know that the color is an illusion. They must always think they are not equal. Drop by drop, we will advance in our goal. We will take over their land, resources, and wealth to exercise total control over them. We will deceive them into accepting laws that will steal the little freedom that they will have. We will establish a money system that will imprison them forever, keeping them and their children in debt. When they shall band together, we shall accuse them of crimes and present a different story in the world, where we shall own all the media. For we will use our media to control the flow of information and their sentiment in our favor. When they shall rise up against us, we will crush them like insects, for they are less than that. They will be helpless to do anything, for they will have no weapons. We will recruit some of their own to carry out our plans, and we will promise them eternal life, but eternal life they will never have, for they are not one of us. The recruits will be called initiates, and it will be indoctrinated to believe false rites of passage to higher realms. The members of these groups will think they are one with us, never knowing the truth. They must never learn the truth, for they will turn against us. For their work, they will never be rewarded with earthly things and great titles, but never will they become immortal and join us. Never will they receive the light and travel the stars. They will never reach the higher realms, for the killing of their own kind will prevent the passage of the realm of enlightenment. This they will never know. The truth will be hidden in their face, so close that they will not be able to focus on until it's too late. Oh yes, so grand the illusion of freedom will be, that they will never know how they are our slaves. When all is in place, the reality we shall have created for them will own them. The reality will be their prison. They will live in self-delusion. When our goal is accomplished, a new era of dominion will begin. Their minds will be bound by their beliefs, the beliefs we have established from the time immemorial. But if they ever find out that they are our equal, we shall perish then. This they must never know. If they ever find out that together they can vanquish us, they will take action. They must never ever find out what we have done. For if they do, we shall have no place to run, for it is easy to see who we are once the veil has fallen. Our action will have revealed who we are, and they will hunt us down, and no person shall give us shelter. This is the secret covenant by which we shall live the rest of our present and future lives. For this reality will transcend many generations and lifespans. This covenant is sealed by blood, our blood. We, the ones who from heaven to earth came, the fallen angels. This covenant must never ever be known to exist. It must never ever be written or spoken of, for it is the consciousness that will release the fury of the Prime Creator upon us, and we shall be cast to the depths from whence we came and remain there until the end of time, of infinity.
Poison. This is murder by the United Nations. This element within our society that's doing this must be stopped. I happen to know of 2 of the locations where the airplanes are that dumped it on us. 4 of the planes are out of Air National Guard, Lincoln, Nebraska, and the other planes are out of Fort Still, Oklahoma. I personally have observed the planes that were standing still in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, at Air National Guard. They have no markings on them. They're huge, bomber-like airplanes with no markings. This is a crime against humanity, a crime against America, a crime against the citizens. of this great country. They must be stopped. What is wrong with Congress? This has an effect on their population and their people and their friends and their relatives and themselves. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with the pilots who are flying these airplanes? They're dumping this poison on their own families. Somebody has to do something about it. Somebody in Congress has to step forward and stop it now.
Yeah, it's a world we live in. We need Jesus. I think for real. Like if he came back now, it'd be great. Like Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back
right now,
now's a good time.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah,
now's a good time. We're kind of.
Well, there's a lot of people that think that might be coming.
Well, it might be.
Mark of the beast.
In Matthew 24, he spoke of wars, nation rising against nation, famines, and earthquakes. Then he said, but all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs. As a woman gets closer to delivery, the birth pangs become more frequent and more intense. Jesus warned that would happen just before his coming. Catastrophic events would become more frequent and more intense. And then he will come in judgment. Don't you believe for 1 second that God isn't filled with wrath at this baby-killing, violence-loving, adulterous, blasphemous, fornicating, foul-mouthed, God-hating, sin-loving, and sexually perverted generation. He will have his day of justice, something the Bible calls the great and terrible day of the Lord.
Okay, so this UFO just came out of the water, guys. I saw it on my fish finder. It went underneath my boat. I was tracking it, and all of a sudden it came out of the water. I don't know if it's looking at me right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm off the coast of Los Angeles. I'm out here fishing. But look, it's taking off. Oh, there it goes. I want to go away. Just go away, please. It's turning. Is this really even happening right now? Is this real? Somebody, I'm out here by myself. Somebody tell me what's happening. Is this like common knowledge? Okay, it's coming back. Relax, relax, relax. Oh my gosh. What is happening? Somebody please tell me what that was. Somebody please tell me what that was.
What the fact?
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this, but I actually work in a cloud factory. We create clouds and make rain for the city of Chicago. The government doesn't want you to know this. We control the climate.
We now know with peer-reviewed study that bees are testing with 70 times more aluminum in their system than what it takes to cause Alzheimer's or dementia in a human being. It's a wonder any of them are alive. 70 times more. And this is important as well. When you have somebody from some agency who's paid to lie, who tells you it's normal to have aluminum everywhere because it's a very abundant element, that is a lie of inaccuracy. Aluminum is very abundant in the environment, yes, but it does not exist in the environment in free form. It doesn't exist in free form. It must be mined and refined and sprayed for it to be scattered everywhere in the environment, and that's exactly what's happening. It's not just the bees that are dying. Every single one of us is being contaminated. These materials are bioavailable. They're building up in our systems, and it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It doesn't matter. It's a fact. We have the lab test to prove it. There will be no hiding this issue much longer. And what does it appear? The chemical signature for what's showing up in rain tests matches coal fly ash, a substance that the EPA has told us is not harmful. They've been trying desperately to get rid of, and it seems to suit the purposes for geoengineering, and evidence is increasingly indicating that toxic coal fly ash may be one of the base materials they're using to spray because it gives them plausible deniability.
Not a drop of water.
See, I think that a chemtrail pilot was signaling and actually wanted to be seen here. He turns the sprayers on, off, on, off, on, off. It's like an SOS message or something. This totally shuts down any of the government shills that want to tell you it's just because of difference in air temperatures and all this crap. No, and you don't shut off jet engines when you have a plane, both of them. So this is 100% slam dunk evidence that we are being sprayed. I want you guys to send this thing viral. Send it everywhere.
We see in the sky on a regular basis these long white trails that do not dissipate. They actually form artificial clouds and block the sun is an expressed goal of geoengineers.
The contrails, not the chemical, the contrails occur because of cold air, minus 30. It takes high altitude, around 30,000 feet plus. There's carbon dioxide and water vapor in that exhaust. That turns to ice crystals, and that's what you see, the white stream behind it. Those white crystals of ice warm up, dissolve, and the smoke goes away. And it never lasts more than a minute. What we're seeing now, and I first could not believe it, and I started looking at the skies, and these are not normal. They're not natural.
I'm here to give you testimony that chemtrails are indeed real. They're spraying almost every day. I watch the clouds and watch the spraying program going on. I want to tell you that we're in very great danger from the pollution that's coming down over us. And we've been led astray by the military-industrial complex, and they're responsible for the clouds creation and weather manipulation programs. They're dark operations. That's why they're not out in the media.
There's a huge amount of aluminum being found because these sprays have aluminum, strontium, barium, manganese, and there's a lot of argument that aluminum is very common to be found. But aluminum is only common in a bonded form. It's not common in a free form, and we're finding high rates of free aluminum in the soil, which is not natural.
What we have in our air, this is a sample that I brought, and this is what we have on the screen. And my friend is going to tell me now a little bit more about what it is that we're looking at, and he's also going to send me some pictures of what we're looking at right at this moment. So pay attention, and you guys will learn something new today.
You understand?
So apparently this actually is artificial life, and it's able to grow.
They call that the nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology, imagine that.
Smart dust. This side you can see. What's happening here is what is inside, like this. This is from inside coming out.
Okay.
And it's nothing to do with the roots. Is more the matter is changing.
Okay.
They call that callus. This is callus. we go back, we follow the hair a little bit. You can see the skin of the hair. Okay, this little particle I'm going to show you. I wish I can say to you this is aluminium. Okay, I wish I can, but this I see that often in rain.
Okay.
When it's raining, we see that really often, and sometimes you can see as they have a machine to broke and piece. So sometimes you can see the knife.
The cuts.
Yeah, with the turbine or something like that.
This is at a microscopic level, so it's not something that you can see just with the naked eye.
No. That one right now is 450 times.
Okay, 450 times zoom.
Yeah,
So for anyone out there that has a microscope and wants to do something similar and verify some of this stuff, check out your desk and take a look.
Okay, this is the same kind of stuff like the long one. We see they go and go and go and they are long. So I'm going to show you that one is not long, okay? So you see it's shorter. But I'm going to zoom in this part here. See, now it's coming. It's another piece. It's coming out and it's going to go. This is tank is going up. And this is, see, it's like a snake. You go. And how we do that is just transform water and air and the matter surround it. You take it, transform it, and you go.
Okay.
And why they do that is they webbing everything. They web. I call that webbing. That's what they do. They webbing. See that part here? That's the one. That's you're going to see that often. Everywhere you see that. It's coming out of it, and after it's transforming. Let's go see the long hair. That's a small one. This is on the Morgellon group.
Morgellon?
Yeah, Morgellon. Look at it.
I've been starting to hear a lot of things about this thing, Morgellons.
Yeah, that's what it is right now.
Is that moving on its own?
Oh yeah, he's moving on his own. I do nothing. And look, you made the S.
Oh yeah, there it goes. So, and this is in the dust around us?
Yes. And that when you breathe that. That's why everybody has that inside their body. And that doesn't eat like we do. It's like, he's a snake.
Oh, Jesus.
Dress as an S.
It's
very scary, those stuff, you know.
Oh gosh, man. I don't know if you remember the story about Howard Hughes hiding in a hotel room for years in his room.
If you would see that, he would not even go nowhere no more.
Oh well. It's alive. It's
a nano. It's a life.
It's artificial life.
Artificial life. Yes.
Wow.
And his mission is webbing. Transform and webbing. That's what the mission. See? The little one, that's why it's fractal. You have a big one and you have a small one. And when you look at the small one deeper, you can see there is a small one on top of the small one. So what is important to retain is fractal. So what happened, you see the big fiber, because we are at 450. At 450, we see the small one emerge out of it. And sometimes we can see from him, we got the other small one out on standing
Okay,
on
we can
it.
zoom in and then you
Yes,
find another
yes,
one. And can
yes.
you zoom in and then find another one from that one as well?
Yeah.
Up to how many times in terms of in micro sizes can you go in?
Oh, that one I can go to 1,000 times.
Oh boy, okay.
You see?
Oh, jeez.
So
All right.
here, what's happened? He break. Okay, because for some reason, when you pick it up, the dust, or so the head of the dust break. So after that, he go all over the place. 1,000 head go and he go on their ways.
Each one becomes one again and continues and just takes this.
And here you can see you have a glass on top of the glass. Okay, this is the lamelle, and on top of it there is another glass. So it's not my breath or something like that to make it them move.
Okay. It's actually sandwiched inside.
Yeah, yes, it's a sandwich.
If it's sandwiched inside there and it's still able to move the way we saw it move,
Yeah.
then
See those parts, that's what I mean, those, you see that often, those little things there. Okay, this is for the dust, so you can put that on pause. And
he's showing something right now. What he has done is he's used a file to bring his skin layer down to do an experiment. And so, explain the experiment.
Okay, it's on the screen.
It's on the screen, okay.
Yes. So after this is the top of the hand, and what I was want to see is what's happening. So as you see what the fiber do, they are webbing, and you have all that from inside the body.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So, and I have a movie of this and that also.
So you didn't only take pictures, you actually have film.
Yeah, it was a nice camera to do that. It's almost, after that you need a microscope, so I'm not good on camera to...
So explain what we're seeing then.
Okay, what's happening is the fiber, the webbing, so now I let them go to see what they want to do. So they walk together and they go as a spiral, always as a spiral, because it's stronger, so that we can go higher. And here, if you look at the head, the head is important because you have that one who come up, and after that one was up, he fall down, and see the other turn around, that one go up. They always go like that, and they work together to make the tower like that. And inside of this you have other stuff which I will explain other time, because I didn't discuss with my friends here yet. But and after this is one side, and now at the other side he start to do the same. So you see he start to build round one, and that one go inside. And after you see here, he do the same, the round one, and he go inside, and he's going to make another tower.
I'm amazed that this is possible on such a microscopic level. But I mean, I know that. We're as a human being, we're made up of things that grow. But
that's not normal.
This isn't normal.
No, this is the smart dust. Okay. When they talk about the smart dust, what I learned from them on the 1990, there was explained that the smart dust will be everywhere in the nature, so they can check how the steel bridge with smart dust doing. So it's happening, all this happening. I can tell you why it's happening, because I already check. So I take a walk outside, I take up from the ground and rust nail, And the nail was at the callus, the stuff which emerged. You will see it before, and it was at the fiber. And after on the ground, I pick up some foam, and the foam was do same thing as you see here. Okay. And after I did that with plastic, and same thing with plastic. I'm going to change the picture to, you will see the top of my hands. This is the top of my hands with the black light.
Okay.
So that's those fibers before they start to make the towers. So that's what it is.
Okay.
And it was a really nice camera, but more big you go, more easy, to move and this and that.
Right.
Yes,
I guess. You're less stationary. You're humans.
Yes. And I was doing that on my left hand, the one you see before. Okay. So what I was doing that to witness that, because I knew it was there, because I have those mini microscope.
Okay.
That's go up 60 times, and I have just a little scratch, and with that I was looking at it, and that's why I knew if I was make a wide one, it would be something. Okay. That's why I did that.
Do you mind showing me the previous thing that with the snow? You said there was this comes from the snow, and this was taken in
13.
Okay.
2013.
Okay.
And what's happening? It's easy right now. It's 3 day old. 3 day old. Okay. So it's same thing here. And same thing there, so we go with that one because the fiber look like the dust we just see.
That we just looked at from my house, from
the
floor.
Yes.
So this was in the samples of 3 days of snow.
Yes.
And that was, I guess, once it's melted? Or
yes, it's melted. Okay. It's melted.
And so those fibers are in that.
Yeah.
Now I saw here on the balcony that those dishes, and I'm sure you're going to tell me about what that is.
Yeah, later.
And all right, no problem. I'm just so curious. I'm getting excited about this, and I'm sure that everyone watching this with me is going to be as excited as I am at this moment.
What you look at is the reflection. Like on the background, you see the picture of the dust you give to me, but like the lentille give you a reflection of what is the water of your eyes. That's why when you move your eyes left, right, you can see the wave of the water on your eyes, and with the wave, that's those fiber. I want you to pay attention, and that's what he was explaining. You will see it.
Okay, yeah, no, I do see that. Actually, sometimes I think is it possible that we see these things sometimes when without the reflection as we look out?
Of course, you can see it. Okay. Like if you have a nice, you look at the ceiling at your place, and the right light, not too strong, this and that, you're going to see them. But there is also a part which is natural. And often the guys, can explain that for you.
I start with one thing that a lot of people have heard about, and nobody really knows what to think about it. But chemtrails are chemtrails real? And tell us about them.
Let's start with the appropriate place to start. What we're seeing in our skies are not condensation trails in almost all cases. They are sprayed particulate trails, and we're not speculating. We have up-close film footage of military tankers and commercial, nozzles visible, turning on and off. Geoengineeringwatch.org, as a part of the film The Dimming, at great effort and expense, we acquired a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration flying lab, put top scientists in it, took samples at altitude behind heavy aircraft. We sampled what they were emitting. The sample was processed at one of the top testing institutions in the world. We found exactly what we knew we would find: climate engineering elements, starting with aluminum, which is named in one of the most significant climate engineering patents. And the climate engineers themselves have stated their goal of putting tens of millions of tons of aluminum nanoparticles into the atmosphere annually as part of solar radiation management to block some of the sun's incoming thermal energy with no consideration of the consequences whatsoever.
So this is the Pfizer-BioNTech vial that I have been looking at, and I've been documenting what is in it. And so first of all, what you see, for example, here, these are liposomes. This is a 2,000 time magnification, and these liposomes contain these little tiny nanorobots that I'll show you in just a little bit. But this is the delivery mechanism, and the liposomes, what happens, so they are made from a polymer, and the reason why the shots had to be kept at minus 70 degrees Celsius is because temperature increase will start the self-assembly process. So the stuff starts growing. And basically, that then creates this technology. So this liposome here is now under a slide cover, and what you can see is the swarming nanorobots within it. And this right here is again 2,000 time magnification. So one of these little dots that are moving here, this is the solution of the COVID-19 bioweapon. You can see all these blinking lights, which are micro robots. They're programmable. They're artificially intelligent. They can build things. So these things are within these liposomes and within the solutions.
Well, the translators are gone, and the live stream is waning, which means that if we just listen to my colleague Matthias, the best thing in the world would be to leave it to you, the people. Now it's up to you to share what clearly, based on the cavernous emptiness we see in all of these spaces, is only going to be heard if you share it. So it feels very appropriate that I should be the one with the quietest voice. But let's let that lion roar, shall we? I'm done talking about COVID, and I'm done talking about SARS-CoV-2, and I'm done for a very simple reason. For 110 years, we, the people of the world, have been lied to. We're a group of very small number of criminal, industrial conspirators decided to subordinate the entirety of the human population for the purpose of their sinister plans to enrich themselves while impoverishing and killing the rest of humanity. And I'm done being polite. We've long passed polite. When the words acceptable death rate become part of an industrial norm, we have lost the plot of humanity. And that's not my words. Those were the words of the World Health Organization and of Pfizer and of Moderna when they were given the authorization to begin the process of killing human beings in the interest of advancing their goals. Next slide. And I'm also not going to sugarcoat this. This is a criminal cartel. We are acting as though there's some sort of redeemable quality somewhere in some esoteric layer that somehow or another the World Health Organization must have some salutatory benefit. Well, I'm going to tell you, since its formation in the 1940s, the World Health Organization has been nothing more than a criminal cartel that has a sole and singular intent. And I will show you the document that proves what I'm saying. This is not an allegation. This is actually provable by their own words in their own hand. And they use a four-step process to execute every one of their nefarious plans. They begin by planning an exercise, then they go to the business of funding that exercise, then they create the rationale for the thing that they're going to do, and then they deploy and profit from it. And in violation of 15 U.S. Code Section 19, which for those of you listening, coincidentally started with the Clayton Act in the same year that the World Health Organization in the United States, 1913, the same year the World Health Organization's progenitors also started. So I find it fascinating that we passed the Clayton Act in 1913 and we set in motion 110 years ago the criminal conspiracy which we now call the World Health Organization. 110 years later. And in violation of TIFU, or TEFU, I don't even know how to say it, the TFEU, the treaty, allegedly, for the functioning of the European Union, which I think needs to now be called the Treaty for the Dysfunctional European Cabal, Article 101 unambiguously lays out the conditions that this was never a public health anything. It was racketeering for the purpose of instilling terror to adapt the behavior of a population. Period. That's what it was. That's what it always was. And we can come up with every theoretical argument we want to make about things, but the problem, even with the theory that we had an outbreak of something, is falsifiable for the data from Zurich that shows us that in the year of the death pandemic of the globe, life insurance companies paid $30 billion less in claims. Now, if there's a medical professional or a social professional or anybody else who wants to debate that we could develop a virus cunningly that could find out your bank account, your insurance policy statements, and whether you're paid up on your premiums, that's a big ask. It turns out that the data is unambiguous. We did not have a pandemic. We had genocide. And we need to call it what it is. Next slide. When I say we planned it, let's make sure we understand exactly the not-so-fine print of the fine print. And I want to call your attention first to the right-hand column of the slide. This is the 2011 data that the World Health Organization, the Wellcome Trust, PATH, and the Gates Foundation did on their wonderful worldwide program for a malaria vaccine for children under the age of 6 months of age. And in their clinical trial, it's helpful to point out that they murdered 66 children in the vaccine group and then cunningly used the term control for a control group in which they murdered 28 children. Now, the reason I said murdered and the reason why I use that term is because it's exactly what it was. Because it turns out that this control group was not a saline injection. It was not some sort of innocuous, innocent thing. It was actually a cocktail of other known pathogenic disease-carrying injections. The control group was known to kill people, and the experimental control group was actually theoretically maybe going to kill people. And what we did was we actually went ahead and murdered them all. And cunningly, under Article 5, Section 13, which I've put on this slide, I want you to understand why I said, at its formation in 1947, when the WHO was funded and founded, it was funded and founded by people intent to commit a crime because of their own language. Section 13 of Article 5 ends with the following statement: immunity from personal arrest or detention, blah, 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 immunity from legal process of every kind. Now, if you didn't intend to commit a crime, why would you need to give yourself permanent and absolute immunity from every form of prosecution, and its worse, even investigation for prosecution of every kind? People sit there and pretend, well, that's like diplomatic immunity. Do you realize this isn't even meeting the standard of diplomatic immunity? This is a criminal organization who set in motion their own law to protect themselves against crimes they knew they were going to commit. And when I say they knew they were going to commit, I mean they knew it. Because their first Director General, none other than Dr. René Sand, who happened to be in the hospitality of the Germans in Dachau in 1940 earlier, in 1947, mysteriously, with the largesse of the Rockefeller Foundation, was nominated to become the first Director General of the WHO. And within 5 short years, René Sand decided to authorize the real purpose of the WHO in writing by then Director General Dr. Brock Chisholm, who advocated for population control as its primary objective. Does that sound like public health to anyone in this room? This is not public health. This is the advancement of the same genocidal program that began with the Carnegie Foundation's funding of the eugenics office at Cold Spring Labs in the United States in 1913 under the philanthropy of Andrew Carnegie. People, stop fooling yourself. We debate the leaves on the tree of what we call this pandemic thing, but we're not going to the root. This was an organized crime, racketeering entity set up to give itself first absolute immunity and then execute its plans to make sure it controls who lives, who dies, and who gets any chance at life. And if you think that I am somehow inflating numbers, let me be unambiguous. Under every treatment of tax provision, if I were to tell you that there is an 88% controlling interest of any organization, you might conclude that that actually aggregates into a controlling interest. And it turns out that if we look at the foundation donations to the World Health Organization, 88% of those come from a single organization, the Gates Foundation. That constitutes a violation of every competitiveness law in Europe and every competitiveness law in the United States. This is absolutely not only not an independent, charitably funded donation, but more importantly, under the tax laws on both sides of the Atlantic, this constitutes directed donations which specifically are forbidden and do not have any place anywhere in the Charter of the World Health Organization or any of the UN-affiliated organizations. When I say this is a crime, I mean it's a tax crime, a racketeering crime, a money laundering crime, and now the crime of racketeering leading to murder and global terrorism. Next slide. I told you that the second thing after they plan it is they fund it. And why don't we use the criminals' language in their own words, because it's the best way to say it. When they actually planned the release of the use of a biologically modified chimera associated with the model derived from coronavirus, they actually said the following: to sustain the funding base beyond the crisis, we need to increase the public understanding for the needful medical countermeasures such as a pan-influenza or pan-coronavirus vaccine. Now let me pause for just one moment and remind you that the crisis that they were speaking of was a crisis of diminishing funding. There was no health crisis. This was a crisis of their coffers were starting to run dry. That's the crisis. And let's read on. A key driver is the media, and the economics will follow the hype. We need to use that hype to our advantage to get to the real issues. Investors will respond if they see profit at the end of the process. That is officially the statement made by the conspiratorial cabal that by that time was the decade of vaccines put in motion in 2011 by the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board of the World Health Organization, and it was the funding base for Peter Daszak's partnership with the chimeric production of pathogens both in North Carolina and in Wuhan. So don't tell me that we have to do an investigation into where this came from. The criminals have admitted to it in their own words. Next slide. And now we get the fun one that no one in Congress is willing to address, which is the elephant in the room. On October the 21st, 2014, despite the multiple conversations between Senator Rand Paul and Anthony Fauci, where we've been told that Rand Paul has done everything he can to put Fauci on the ropes, he has had in his possession the letter that you see on the left. And it is the letter, conveniently on NIAID letterhead, sent to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which unambiguously states that during the gain-of-function moratorium, which, by the way, if we use the word moratorium, feels like that means you're supposed to stop. Why don't we go ahead and look at two pieces of this letter. First, the second bullet under Project One, which, by the way, was not part of the original grant. This was to look at the novel functions of the virus pathogenesis in vivo. You know what that means? In living systems. The grant was supposed to be clinical simulations and models, but this grant was modified with this letter to say we were going to authorize gain-of-function research during the moratorium in living systems. And then we love the last paragraph of this letter, which conveniently says, as your grant is currently funded, this pause is voluntary. How many times have you met a voluntary moratorium? And the best part about it is that if we look at the very last line, or continue to conduct the applicable gain-of-function research until the end of the currently active budget period. But here comes the problem. You know who is supplying the budget? An indefinite term, unlimited amount contract from DARPA and from NIH. Isn't it convenient to have a perpetually funded project that needs to stop when the money runs out, when you find out that there is no point where the money runs out because there is no end to the thing that has no end? And lest you think that I'm making an allegation, which I'm not, I'm making an accusation. Let's be clear. And there's a big difference. I'm not alleging anything.
Assessments here are correct. These are very covert weapons, aren't they?
That's correct. There's no entry or exit wound. How they're designed is to make the target feel like they're crazy, like they're imagining things, especially on the low duration, the low intensity, long duration hits.
They're not just designed to make people feel like they're going crazy or to torture people. These weapons are designed to kill and to cause cancer and heart attacks and strokes. In the government documents, they clearly say microwave radiation produces heart seizures, neurological pathologies, which include strokes and aneurysms and the like. Many people have been taken out like that. Effects on the central nervous system, MS, and other neurological disorders, but also causing cancers, mutations in the chromosomes. This is everywhere in the DoD documents, and the Pentagon admits it themselves.
Your assessments here are correct. These are very covert weapons, aren't they?
Of recording and saving of human soul for human immortality and installation for it. Okay. Abstract. A writer shows that a human soul is only the information in human brains. He offers a method for rewriting the human brain on electric chips. Look it up, folks. Oh, good God. What is wrong with these fucking people? So the establishment, the elite, the cabal, whatever the hell you want to call them, they want to live forever, and they are using current humanity as their testing grounds to figure out what they can actually get away with. But at the end of it, the only thing that they could actually do is maybe put a synthetic memory of themselves in a cloud and what? Rule the non-existent world, because they're going to completely destroy humanity if they don't get stopped at all of this nefarious, crazy shit. Just look up the patent right there. You're welcome.
Be aware at this point that there are not two parties. There is not a Republican and Democrat, not in any way that we would have imagined, or a lot of our relatives that have passed away in past times had. We have a uniparty in Washington, D.C., a uniparty that is really controlled by a bunch of think tanks, a bunch of lobbyists, a bunch of foreign powers, including the CCP and other nations. They are controlled by a billionaire, trillionaire class, an oligarchy, an American oligarchy, elitist class that owns all of our politicians and selects them from the start. And until we stop dividing ourselves with the illusion of choice, which is all it is at this point, then we will never ever be able to fight this battle, because they will keep us divided every way they can.
I look at it and I'm like, well, what is this? He looks at me and says, it's a walkie-talkie. I said, I'm not an idiot. I know what this is. Why are you giving me this? And he said, when the big day comes, the San Andreas fault line, it's not a lie. The earthquakes and the tsunamis are not a lie, but the people's aid comes from cell phones. The cities rely on cell phone towers. So I looked down at the walkie-talkie. It's a Baofeng walkie-talkie. It's not a regular walkie-talkie. I guess they go long distance. The new ones have this capability of pushing the green button and it would connect to any frequency line that's nearby. Do is turn it on and connect to different frequency lines. Kind of like the movie Terminator. But the most important thing he said is, you're gonna need this on the big day. Do not be relying on your cell phone.
Infrared from the satellites. Now wait for it. What is that? Did y'all see that? That is laser. And on the screen you can see what they often use that for, I'm sure. Apparently this is coming from Daywalker 378. But we got more on this.
Weather modification, weather control, cloud seeding, where they inject certain things into the clouds to make them rain down with certain chemicals or whatnot, whatever it is they inject. Outside of that, you have direct energy weapons. It's another thing that people in the military know about. DEW weapons or direct energy weapons, where they shoot laser beams, for example, to start fires. They have military tank-like vehicles that they use for rapid response to break up riots, where they have these huge metal plates that come up on the top of the vehicle. It sends a controlled laser beam onto the plate. It bounces off into a large crowd and it makes you feel like your skin is boiling, right? That's a direct energy weapon. And they're very advanced. Aside from that, you have something called DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. It's part of the U.S. government that deals with robotic technology, robotic snakes, robotic dogs, robotic mosquitoes, robotic hummingbirds, robotic bees, robotic flies, all these different things. They have it. They've been had it for a long time. They've been utilizing it quite well.
Paint your rooftops royal blue, okay? And use lead paint. Go on Amazon right now and look for lead paint. It's abundant everywhere. See, when you go in for an x-ray, you wear a thick lead vest to protect you from radiation. When you get shot and a bullet is stuck in you for the rest of your life, you don't get lead poisoning, ever, okay? Now, Hollywood is paid for in large part by the Pentagon, so your taxes. And your taxes paid for a movie called Independence Day. Now, in that movie, there's a green laser. Well, in reality, it's blue. It won't burn through things that are blue.
The UK recently completed a carbon footprint trial. They allocated 40 kilograms of CO2 per person per day. This would include things like buying clothes, buying food, traveling, and even heating your home. Each person receives 4 kilograms of CO2 usage of food per day. Just to give you an idea as to how much that is, a single serving of cheese would be 1.1 kilograms of CO2, and 8 ounces of red meat would be your entire usage of the day. However, 2 slices of bread is only 3%, and a can of Coke is 4%. And they are strongly encouraging people to eat fake processed meat. So essentially, they're trying to not make you eat meat and make you unhealthy by eating very processed, very sugary foods, so that you stay under your CO2 limit and save the world. But don't worry, because pharmaceuticals that will be used to treat all the diseases that you're going to get from all this fake food and sugary food is not going to be factored into your CO2 usage. Food suppliers are already testing this by labeling their foods with the amount of CO2 consumption in that package. What about buying clothes? One single shirt would account for 2.1 kilograms of CO2. If you don't want to spend your CO2 allowance on a shirt, you can always buy used clothing, which they strongly encourage you to do as well. Let's talk about travel. So flying from London to New York would account for 80 days of usage. Heating your home, you have 2 options. You can remain cold or pay an extortionate amount to have alternative heating sources, whatever the government deems as alternative heating sources. Let's talk about your freedom of movement, going to sports games, going to the movies, gardening, All things that you deem as entertainment will all cost you. And this is not some idea that's just being pulled out and talked about. It's actually being planned. And I think one of the most ironic things is that 70% of CO2 usage is not even accounted for by individual use. It is accounted for by factories, military, and things that are out of individual control. So you tell me that they're not trying to control us, that they're not trying to limit our freedom of movement, that they're not trying to limit what we put into our bodies.
In 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. They're putting in 5G to harvest our data and control our behavior. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Vaccine passports.
How many people have seen this logo and thought when they purchase something, they're doing something good, eating something healthy? Well, turns out you're wrong, myself included. See, this stuff, the non-GMO project, basically means no GMOs are allowed. However, synthetic pesticides, allowed. Roundup herbicide, allowed. Hexane, a gas, allowed. Sewage sludge, allowed. Antibiotics, allowed. Ractopamine, not sure what that is, but it's allowed. And you need to factor in when you do buy something, make sure it says USDA organic, because none of this synthetic crap is allowed.
With 175 stores, Whole Foods is the undisputed leader in organic foods and promotes locally grown. But the I-Team has found that much of Whole Foods organics are imported from China.
Honestly, I would have never flipped it over to see that it was a product of China.
Spinach, sugar snap peas, and would you believe California blend vegetables? All listed under the Whole Foods brand 365 Organic, and on the back in small print, product of China. Organic ensures pesticide-free, environmentally friendly conditions. But how do we even know the food is organic? Food sold in this country must be approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture before they can display the organic label.
The oversight that they have in China is not the same kind of supervision that we have in the United States.
But the USDA doesn't inspect imported foods. It certifies private inspectors to do the job. Whole Foods employs a company called Quality Assurance International. But the company confirms QAI has not certified any products in China. They rely on another certifier on the farm.
I can't believe this, but Amazon is actually about to kill people. I hate that I'm making this video, but it's been going on for a couple weeks, and at this point, it's like a fucking safety thing. Okay, so check this out. This is my product. It's sold on Amazon. Look at this. Fake pills. It's insane. I am the only person in the world that manufactures this product and makes it. I own the trademarks, all of the manufacturing. This is my core business. But if you go here, though, you will see that there's 11 sellers right now. Now, here's me. The product's usually sold for $120. You have all of these people selling the product for less. New seller. So we've been ordering from these sellers because we expected counterfeit, or like maybe our manufacturer ships them out the back door or something crazy like that. But the reality of this is way more shocking. This has been going on for a couple weeks. You'd think you just hit up Amazon, show them your trademark, all of that stuff. It's all good, right? No. More sellers keep popping up. They keep allowing this. And there's a genuine threat to consumers at this point. We've tweeted the head of Amazon safety. It's gotten some motion, but it's still not going anywhere. I guess at this point, just let your friends know that supplements on Amazon can be literal sawdust pills shipped over from China in your favorite brand's packaging. Crazy.
This is a conspiracy theory involving the EPA, the Pentagon, and bugs. As you can see, I live in the great state of New Hampshire. And here in New Hampshire, we recently got something called Lone Star ticks. This is a picture of a Lone Star tick. So as you may know, most ticks, if you get bitten by them, can give you something called Lyme disease. But if you get bitten by a Lone Star tick, you can get something called alpha-gal. And what alpha-gal is an allergy to one of the proteins in red meat. So people with alpha-gal can eat chicken and fish, but if they eat beef, pork, or like lamb, they'll get an allergic reaction. So naturally, a lot of people were concerned about the spread of this disease, and they started looking into kind of where it might have come from. And many people were shocked to find that the US government actually experimented on ticks to be used as a bioweapon. This information was really highly publicized in 2019, and the House of Representatives actually ordered that the Pentagon confirm or deny that they did this. That kind of like ruling was very highly publicized, but what's really weird is no matter where you look to find their response, there's absolutely nothing on the internet. There's like a very brief period of time after that ruling where people started thinking that the EPA was spreading them to make people more environmentally friendly in their choice of protein. But other than that, there's like no news coverage or information at all on what the Pentagon actually said. I'm going to try to look on the dark web as well and see what I can find, but so far I find it really, really strange.
There's cities underground, there's warehouses underground, there's actual homes underground. People build these tunnels and they've built them for decades. There's a lot of elite celebrities. They go down there for parties. Underneath the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, California. I was there for a cock party. We walked through the museum, through the garden area, and employees led us to underground tunnels. We had to take an elevator and stairs. We had to be led. There is no way that you can just walk into a tunnel. The entrances and the exits are in your face, but there's no way that you can just walk through tunnels. You'll get stuck. You'll go deeper and deeper, and you won't be able to come back out because it's hard, because the tunnels run all different directions for miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you go down the wrong one, you'll get stuck, and it's confusing to turn back around and get back to where you're going. So you have to be led in and out.
NPCs are roaming around us all the time. You know, like think about how many people are aware of things. And I've started to realize that there's all these NPCs who've been downloaded into this realm, and that's kind of what we're around a lot of the times. Like all the times you're like roaming around and you're like, meet somebody, you ask them a couple questions, oh my gosh, an NPC. Non-playable character is what it is. And when you think of the movie Truman Show, he's sitting there and he's talking to his wife and she starts like selling him an ad and he's like, who are you talking to? So when you're talking to NPCs, it's kind of what it is. You say something like, oh my gosh, they're bombarding our skies, and they're like, man, it's kind of cloudy today. And you're like, wait, what? But they're bombarding our skies, they're changing the weather. And they're like, what do you mean? It's supposed to be a cloudy overcast. That's what the weatherman said. I was watching Channel 7 News and they told me it was going to be cloudy. And then you go, NPC. The NPC is put in your path to drain your energy. Because when you go to have your conversation about whatever topic it may be, it just doesn't click. That's because they're an NPC. So they're draining your essence the entire time. You're better off sitting by yourself. You're better off sitting by yourself and meditating. They're just going to steal your essence. And everything is an energetic exchange. So if we allow that and we consent to that, that person will take away your essence. It's kind of just like sucking you all up.
There is so much more going on with these drones than meets the eye, and it's not just a cover-up for an upcoming biblical event. It actually has to do with a bill that they are trying to pass, which will lay the foundation for the upcoming beast system. Now again, I will try to censor myself with this video as much as possible. When I talk openly, nobody sees my account or my videos, and everybody needs to know what is going on with this one, what they are doing behind the scenes, and who's actually pulling the strings that is playing the good guy in public. Now to start, BrainChip's brother over here owns one of the largest drone companies in the entire world. Coincidence? I think not. Sure, one of the biggest drone show companies is Intel, chip company, now Nova Sky Stories, and Nova is what Kimball Musk owns. Our sister company, Nova Sky Stories, has acquired the Intel fleet with more than 9,000 drones. Nova is becoming the drone show company with one of the largest fleets in the world. With their own modifications, an entire new, more sophisticated drone has been created. Kimball says he wants to bring art to the skies of every city and town in the world. Remember this headline for when we get into the bill. Kimball also sits on the boards of Tesla and SpaceX. Now, over the past few days, I started to notice a lot of conversation on this topic. I'm not going to read it out loud. And then I started to notice under a lot of these posts would be comments saying that it's misinformation. And that always grabs my attention. If you know, you know. Now, I did a little research, and on Homeland Security's website, I found the exact hearing that discusses these two bills. Now, before we get into the video, I want to briefly summarize what is going on. So this top one here that expires in about a week, that essentially gives our gov basic control of drones in our airspace. Now, because this one expires so soon, and because our government has, let's just say, very interesting plans in the very near future, they have to pass this one. Let's just say that this new bill is the older, smarter, stronger, and more evil brother of this bill. What they're essentially doing, y'all, is they're saying that the US is being threatened by unauthorized drone activity. And by passing this bill, the government is essentially going to protect us. And how are they going to protect us, you might ask? Well, they'll be using authorized drones for surveillance and the monitoring of communications, aka our internet and cell phones.
UASs have become a transformative force. They've been used in countless positive ways that include revolutionizing many industries like agriculture, logistics, film production, and others, while also improving capabilities for humanitarian relief and law enforcement. However, as with any powerful technology, UAS have also introduced significant security challenges. In recent years, the proliferation of UAS, both domestically and abroad, has raised serious concerns regarding their potential misuse and criminal activities, espionage, and more alarmingly, in threats to U.S. national security. The current authorities provided under the Act are set to expire on December 20th, 2024, just 1 week from now.
In the last few years, the use of unmanned aerial systems, also known as drones, has become common across a wide range of applications. Drones have become increasingly affordable and useful within agriculture, law enforcement, search and rescue, photography, and other industries. However, as the airspace becomes more and more crowded with unmanned aircraft, we must ensure the government is prepared and empowered to protect the safety and security of U.S. critical infrastructure and the American public.
Allow them to, this is a direct quote, to destroy or disable aircraft in flight and intercept signals and communications. This is on American soil. It's a setup, Pastor Jimmy. The other one that was passed is just kind of like, hey, we got to control some of the stuff in the airspace. This one is on steroids. So here they took an act that is going to expire the 20th of this month that gave them very limited control on the skies and drones, and then they take it, and we're not just going to control the skies and drones, we're going to, quote, destroy, disable anything in the air, and intercept signals and communication. Folks, that could be your cell phone. That could be your internet ability. That's anything under the guise of, we've got to control the skies because of this, then that gives them the ability to do it.
This is their goal. This is their end game. This is what they want. Everything will be digital. Everything will be green and in the name of climate change. So they're going to push it in a way where everybody's going to go for it and think it's going to be better for the environment. You won't own a vehicle. You'll have to ride your bike or walk. Everything will be in a 15-minute vicinity, and you won't even own your house. So they'll be able to come in and use your space when you're at work working for them. Everything you consider a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore because we could just call up a driverless vehicle. In our city, we don't pay rent because someone else is using our free space when we don't need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I am not there. Sadly, so many people would think that that's a good thing because, oh, free housing. Once in a while, I will choose to cook for myself. It is easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Why keep a pasta maker and a crepe cooker crammed in our cupboards when we can just order them when we need them?
Amazon was the first company that joined the aerial drone race. In 2013, it announced a new technology that would allow a drone to deliver packages up to 5 pounds in 30 minutes or less. Then the company took time to build, fly, and test its drones. The first successful drone delivery happened 3 years after that. An Amazon Prime Air drone made a 13-minute flight in Cambridgeshire to drop off its first package. It delivered a TV streaming stick and bag of popcorn directly to the garden of a nearby customer who was more than pleased with the drone's work.
Now, they've already started planning for these, but how do they actually implement a complete surveillance system? that will eventually take away our privacy. It will monitor everything that we do. Well, they do what they always do. They create a problem to instill fear in the general public, so then they step in and offer the solution.
For 3 years of planning, city administration is presenting its vision to accommodate a population of 2 million people through 15-minute cities. 3 days of public hearings on the plan began at City Hall this morning. Shailen Skulski has more.
The 50 new district plans and corresponding bylaws will replace 54 existing planning documents dating back to the 1980s. Administration says the goal is to accommodate 600,000 new residents in redeveloped areas, with 50% of all new home units added through infill. The plan also calls for half of all future travel to be done by transit.
They will monitor everything and you will have zero privacy. But don't worry, it'll be convenient. Because when you go to the grocery store, there won't be a need for checkout lines anymore. Because when you leave, they can just scan that little chip that you now have in your hand.
June Sarpong follows a lead to New Mexico. She catches up with David Icke. The writer and lecturer has spent decades researching who really runs the world. He has no doubt that a global death plot is in the works.
This has been in the agenda for a long time. They control the media, they control the politics, they control the pharmaceutical cartel and the other corporations, they control the political parties that can run the governments. There's one thing they don't have: numbers. Global population is now 7 billion. They want to dramatically reduce the population so that, for their point of view, they have a population number they can handle, because they can't handle this one. And this is why it's so important for people to understand this.
David Icke gets down to specifics, how the murders will take place.
The idea is to target the human immune system. There is a war on the human immune system through food additives and additives to drink. All of them are chemically targeting the human immune system.
Good morning, y'all, from snowy western North Carolina. It's Sunday, January 12th, and I woke up ill as a hornet today. I'm mad all over. I want to preface this by saying that my thoughts and prayers are with California, and I truly mean that. Nobody should have to endure such as that. And I'm happy for them, that they've been issued a blank check to help with their recovery and that no expense is being spared. But where was this blank check, this carte blanche, when our people were drowning and being pulled out of the mud and still being pulled out of the mud? There's heavy media coverage of the wildfires, but most of the country doesn't even know what's going on here in Appalachia. All these celebrities that are coming out all tearful on social media. Where was all this emotion for the people of Appalachia? It's almost as if us dumb mountain folk don't matter. Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know we're in the midst of one of the worst natural disasters in American history. Our people are still suffering in ways you can't even imagine. Still. And this is 4 months post-Hurricane Helene.
Although I didn't watch it, I seen clips of the TV glitch, and he seemed to be a reptilian. Looking forward to your response. Always sending love and light.
Yes, he has been, the original person was replaced. So what we can tell you is he was activated as a reptilian. So there's a process where they send a microorganism into your eye. And it's a living organism that goes in through your eye, and it takes over the brain, fully activating your reptilian DNA, basically turning you into a programmable reptilian. So you're going to see a lot of celebrities with black eyes. And what's really interesting is their belief system is they have to put this out in front of people. So rather than hiding away till the black eye heals, you literally can look up photographs where celebrities come out to events with black eyes. When you see that, you know that they have been activated to be reptilians. And that is the case for him as well as others, which then also helps him. It's an implanted device which helps convert them into partial synthetics so they can be programmed in their talents. Their voices can be programmed for singing. Their athletic abilities can be programmed. Their musical talents can be programmed. And so they have been synthesized. That's what we will tell you.
All right, Dior talk. We need to have a talk. So this was released today. This is called Waldo 3. And what it is an AI system that you are able to install onto, say, something that could fly in the sky, or probably just a regular camera system as well. And it's called Waldo, the Whereabouts Ascertainment for Low-Lying Detectable Objects. And what it's able to do is detect different objects, like light vehicles, persons, buildings, utility poles, boats, bikes, containers, trucks, gas tanks, diggers, solar panels, buses, probably more, and probably more to come. But I just want to put this out here because this technology is available right now. It has been available. And this is just the latest version that was released today, January 2nd, 2025. And people are currently using it for, they have here listed, disaster recovery, monitoring wildlife sanctuaries, occupancy calculation, monitoring infrastructure, construction site monitoring, traffic flow management, crowd counting, some fun AI art applications, drone safety, avoiding people / cars on the ground, and lots of other fun stuff, ... So I'm just putting it out here. This is for educational purposes only, obviously. But this is software you can actually download. It's open source. You can download it. You can play around with it. And so this is public-facing software that's available. Public-facing. So I just want to let you guys know that this is going on with possible things that are above us.
And then, in the meantime, Elon Musk just changes his name. So Elon changed his name to Kekius, which is a demonic god of darkness. He's also wearing Roman garb because he's anticipating the revived Roman Empire, also known as the Beast System. Hey, you know, the same guy who dressed up in his Satan outfit for Halloween, he now calls himself Kekius, after the demonic god of darkness. So I've seen so many people posting how they're just in love with Elon Musk. He's such a hero now. It's like, oh, you have no idea what's going to happen. Kek, the Egyptian god, symbolism, origin, and depictions. Kek is an ancient Egyptian god symbolizing darkness and obscurity, often depicted as a frog-headed figure. In partnership with his consort, Kauket, they represent primordial darkness. In modern times, Kek ironically symbolizes the far-right movement. Yeah, Elon Kek, the Egyptian god of darkness. Looks like dark MAGA will rise in 2025. All while he completely mocks us, clearly showing who he is and who he aligns himself with. Backed and supported by the Antichrist spirit, we are witnessing the beast system going live.
This guy right here is mocking us as we continue to see his obsession with ancient Egyptian deities as he changed his name on X to Kekius Maximus. And as we can see right here, he replies to a New York Post article on his name change with the reply, Kek. And I guess it's just a coincidence that Kek is the Egyptian god of darkness. And as we can see right here, the image of Kek is a frog-headed god. As we see from one of the greatest propaganda accounts on X, Doge Designer, he asked Grok to generate an image of Elon looking into a mirror, and what does he see? He sees Kek, the frog-headed deity. I mean, I'm sure there's no significance at all to this, and I guess it's just a coincidence how the Illuminati playing card game that came out in the 90s had a card after the frog god. And as we can read, the idols are both frightening and silly. The silly part here really sticks out because apparently Kek is also slang for LOL or ha ha ha. And that is because he is mocking and laughing straight at us.
Various issues just before we started. You said you were up till 4 in the morning?
Yeah, so, actually a little more like 5 in the morning. But
okay.
We got to the XAI data center or supercomputer center training from beginning installation to start of training in 19 days, which is the fastest that anyone has ever gotten a supercomputer to train.
And is that in that new building off the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about a line that...
I wish that was funny.
Yeah,
yeah,
right. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay. I wish that was funny. Yeah.
I was blinded by the darkness, wishing for a ray of light. And every day I felt so heartless, with a future not in sight. You crossed my path when I was down. You brought me back on solid ground. You gave me